what's up guys? My name is Lee Tyler, and in January actually of this year, I asked people like, what do you want my next YouTube video to be? Because I was on a creative block, so I was hoping that like some people in my audience would be able to tell me the next video idea. And one person came up with a great idea, and this is actually my refilming of the video because when I first filmed it, the audio was horrible. So hopefully this one's better, and shout out to the person that asked about spreading positivity and loving your neighbor, as they call it, loving their neighbor, regardless of their beliefs or their biases, I don't know. Anyway, so I thought those were both really good ideas, and I kind of wanted to combine them and see where it would take me for this video. I thought like, hey, you know what, spreading positivity, that's pretty easy, so let's start off with that. So with spreading positivity, I feel like it starts with yourself. I feel like it sounds cheesy, but it really does start with yourself. Like, if I'm walking around being like so negative all the time, being like, oh, like this part of my life sucks, that part of my life sucks, like everything sucks, that is what I'm going to give out into the world. If I go out every morning and I'm like, hey, if I look at myself in the mirror and do my affirmations, because maybe that helps me. Let's say I go up every morning, I wake up every morning, and every morning I wake up in the mirror and say, hey, you in the mirror, you're awesome. And I do all these different things, whatever works for me, I say these things. And just whatever works. And if I have this positive mindset where literally I am committed to doing positive affirmations every single morning when I wake up, of course, those positive affirmations that I give myself, I am like in a mental state, an emotional state, that I'm ready to give that to other people. But if I'm in a mental state where I'm negative all the time, then negativity is what I'm going to give others. So I have to make the commitment to a positive mindset in myself before I'm ready to give positivity to other people. And honestly, I used to be that negative friend. I used to like have friends, and I used to be like, those are the people who I would vent to. And every so often I do have those days where I'm like, I text my friend and I'm like, yo, I just need to vent right now. Is that cool? Like, I still have those moments. I'm not saying that you have to be like, everything's great and beautiful and sunshine and rainbows. Like, life isn't like that. We all have our down times. But my thing is that you need to have overall a more positive mindset in order to give positivity to other people. And if you, like I said, if you have that negative mindset, what's going to happen is that you give out negativity, and then usually the people that ask me like, oh, how can I be more positive, usually find people who are like, well, how can I be so positive? Like, how are you so positive? They usually are kind of in that space in between where like, they're like, oh, like, I try to be positive, but then, I go and complain about like how much homework I have to do, or like, I'm positive, but like my teacher's annoying, or I'm positive, but I have to work extra hours this week, or I'm positive, but like it was raining on my way to work this morning and I didn't like it. Like, and I'm not saying that you can't complain about things, but I'm saying that those type of people that are like, how can I be more positive? And they're like, oh, I don't know how to do it. It's just like, stop complaining about little things. Stop feeding that part of your mindset. Like, starve that part of your mindset. Starve the negativity and feed the positivity. And if you feed the positivity in yourself, then you're able to feed more positive mindsets into other people and inspire other people to be more positive themselves. Then when you inspire others to be more positive, then those people that you've inspired go out and be more positive to others, and it's like a chain reaction, and like everyone is a lot better off. And I'm not saying like this is like world peace, like if you do this, then like all the world's problems will be solved. But I'm just saying, if you want to be more positive in a general sense, just in your day-to-day, you have to commit, number one, to a more positive mindset in yourself, and then practice that on other people by like, maybe you want to start with like a stranger you see in the store and you're like, hey dude, your shirt's cool. Like, I don't know, however you want to start. If you want to start with your family and you want to say, hey, like, good morning mom, how are you? Like, like, I love that dinner you made last night. Like, I don't know what it is for you. I don't know who you're around the most where you're like, what, that's a perfect opportunity for me to just like try out like what I would work best in like spreading positivity. Like, whether you like, you're like, you know what, like if you want to go like big and you want to be like, I want to start like my own positive mindset Instagram page, then go and do that. But if you just want to go tell Steve at McDonald's that you saw that their shirt's cool, you can tell the person that their shirt's cool. That's fine. You know, like whatever works for you, whatever works for you. But I think it's really important, and that's why I loved the recommendation back in January, because I was like, that is perfect. Like, just like spreading more positivity in the world is just key. And so my next thing I want to talk about, which I think is like something I'm going to spend a little bit more time on because it's not as just simple. He also asked about like loving thy neighbor, as he called it, like without, you know, regardless of your beliefs, right? So I thought this was really interesting, and I feel like I would be able to help him if it's about him and he has like someone in mind when he's asking about this. I feel like I'd be able to help him more if I knew exactly who he's talking about. Like if he has someone in mind that's like, you know, like I don't really like this person, but I also don't want to be a jerk to them, and I kind of want to know like who they are and like get to know them better and see if we can be friends. Be like, just agree to disagree, you know? And like my personal advice on this is actually from a personal experience I had. And there was this guy in the high school that I went to, and he was like super far right politically, and you know, I'm more left, you know, I'm a registered Democrat, and it's just like, you know, like for me, I held into things that I'm really into politics, so there's things that like I really hold strongly to, and I'm like, I have this belief, and if, you know, like if you disagree with me on this, I'm sorry, but I just, you know, I can't like be friends with you. But most of the time, you know, I try and be like, okay, like let me just see where this person's coming from. And it's all because of this one experience I had that I was willing to be like, you know what, maybe I should do that for other people too. Maybe I should, instead of just being like, oh, I don't like you, maybe I should actually try and listen to them and like see where they come from, rather than just writing them off as this person that's like, oh, you're a bad person because you agree in this, you think this one thing and I don't think that one thing, and it's like something that's really important to me. Anyway, so this person in my high school was like super far right, and I was like, you know, I would never like that guy. I like never talk to him. There's no way, if I ever got the chance to, I'd be friends with him, right? So he ended up being in one of my math classes one year, and I was like, that's great. Like, but he never, like, we had like these little tables that like 4 people sat at. So I was like, you know, he's never been at my table. Like, it's all good. Like, I don't have to like talk to him if I don't want to. And then, lo and behold, he came to sit at my table because of a seating chart, and I was like, that is just fantastic. Like, God, why, right? So, and instead of just being like, I'm just not gonna talk to you, like, I was like, you know what? This seems like a really interesting opportunity to see where this guy comes from, to see why he thinks what he thinks, and maybe I could learn something too. And anyway, basically, long story short, we had a lot of like political debates about things, and I really enjoyed it because I just like debates and I think they're really fun. But at the end of the day, we just agreed to disagree. We never agreed on anything. We're just kind of like, we're very different people. Like, we're just going to disagree on like most of the key things that we talk about. But overall, I just had really great conversations with him, and I even learned from trial and error, like how to have a good debate with someone. It doesn't have to be about politics even, you know. I learned how to have a good conversation with someone who disagrees with me, and I learned how to have a good conversation with someone who disagrees with me and who, you know, might be really rooted in their beliefs, as am I, you know, and still have this really good conversation. So my advice to you, the person that asked, and to anyone that wants to take this advice that's watching, if you have someone in your life that disagrees with you, but you're like, hey, you know, like I have to talk to them, or hey, like maybe you just have like, maybe you're just like feeling extra nice, and you're like, you know, maybe I'll talk to that person today and just learn where they're coming from, and maybe we can be better friends. You know, like just learn and like listen to understand before you make judgment. And you know, if you can become friends with that person, great. But if you try this and you're like, you know what, I can't do it. I can't. You know, like for the person that I'm talking about in this example, like we just agreed to disagree. And it was like an unspoken agreement. We never said like, you know what, let's just agree to disagree. We literally just had like this unspoken agreement between us, but we're like, we're not gonna agree on anything. Like, we're too far apart from each other. It's like, there's like the things we talk about are too important to both of us that we're not gonna budge. But like, we're still having a good conversation, so let's have that conversation. You know? And I'm not saying, like I said, that you have to be friends with the person if you try this and you're like, you know what, like I still don't like them. Like, for the person, like I said, for the person that I'm talking about, we're like acquaintances. We were acquaintances. We would say like, hi, what's up, how are you? Like, great, good, have a good day. we weren't like hanging out all the time or anything. We were just like, you know what, like, I got to know you, you got to know me. It's nice and polite to say hi when we pass by each other, when we see each other, and that's all we had to do. So my advice is, honestly, like I said before, listen to understand before you actually take a turn to speak. Because most people, what they do is they just wait for the other person to stop talking so that they can talk, and that way, and what happens is no one gets their point across because no one takes time to understand, and no one no one really listens to them, so it's like no one really understands where they're coming from, and it just creates this conflict in general. So listen to understand before you speak, and that will change your life. No matter if it's with someone you agree with, or whether it's with someone you disagree with, or whether it's someone who, I guess, like, quote unquote, lives a different lifestyle than you. It doesn't matter who it is, but as long as you listen to understand before you speak, I swear that will change your life. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too bad. I didn't really know what to do for this video except stand right here and talk, so I hope this wasn't too boring. If you have any advice, constructive criticism, if you think this video sucked, tell me it sucked, and tell me why you think it sucked. But if you liked it, tell me why you liked it. Anyway, like, subscribe, do whatever you want, you know. I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, but you don't have to. I'm not forcing you, but thanks. Anyway, you guys have a positive day.